Alright, welcome back to Matt's Math and More. Today we're doing Math Expressions Homework 1-9. If you're not following along in Math Expressions, doesn't matter. It is adding and subtracting unlike mixed numbers and a little more difficult. And it's going to have a word problem, but really not that bad. You can do it. It would be like having your hair blowing in the breeze, like you're riding down the road with your favorite dog.
Yes!
Alright, quick review of a type of addition problem you're going to see on tonight's homework. Nothing too crazy. We've actually done this before. If you go back in time and look at some of the other videos, there'll be similar problems. But on your unit test coming up, you're going to have something like this. 8.5 plus, we'll try 7 6/8. So automatically you know it's a bad problem. Oh, I remember I had that, I think I still got it. I had that noisemaker that said no. Oh, I can't find, there it is, I found it.
No!
It's a bad problem, and we got to start somewhere. So we're going to start with finding a common denominator. The way I do that, you probably see it in your head by now because we've been doing LCMs so much. But if you don't, you just do that LCMT, these common multiple. You take 8 and 2 because those are your two denominators. And you probably already see that it's going to be 2, 4, 6, 8. If you don't see it in your head, you can still keep doing that till you get it. That's no problem. Doesn't matter. And I go back to my original problem, and I make my common denominator by saying 2 times 4. See, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. There it is. It's over here somewhere. 2 times 4, and 1 times 4. So we have 8 4/8 plus 7 6/8. I'm going to clear myself a little room here. So now I have a good problem. I can add these numbers because I have a common denominator. And I come out with 10 8 and 7 15 and 10 8. Now this is better. It's one step along the way, but it's still a bad problem.
No!
I kind of like that thing. Look, it's just this thing here goes.
No!
All right. So I cannot keep this because I have a whole number and I have an improper fraction. So what I do to that improper fraction, fairly easy change. We've been practicing this. But one step a lot of kids are forgetting. Do not forget, this 15 exists and we're keeping it. So put a square around it. That's a keeper. You're going to need to get back to that guy. Keep it. Don't forget it. Now we go to this 10 over 8. That's the same as saying 10 divided by 8. Which would be 1, remainder 2 equals 1 2/8. Now, this is a good fraction now, too. That's a good one. Oh, if I could find my yes button, I'd press it. I don't know where that thing is. Hold on, let me go on my desk. Found it.
Yes!
All right, there we go. 1 2/8. Now, this is a keeper. And so is that. So the answer is not 1 2/8. The answer is 16 2/8. Careful on like a multiple choice test. I would make choice A on the multiple choice test. I'd make it 1 2/8. I'd probably fool a lot of people. Don't do that. Got to put your two keepers together. Now, we're not simplifying fractions quite yet, but if you are the type of person who knows how to simplify, we'll be there pretty soon. We could divide both of these out, and you could get 16 1/4. Those are equivalent fractions. This one's in simplest form. So either answer's fine. A lot of steps, but a lot of easy steps along the way. You can do it.
Yes!
All right, let's check out one other type of problem you're going to see on tonight's homework. This one's a multi-step word problem, so I want to go over this one a little more in depth. I'm going to use color coding because I think that helps me when I'm thinking about steps that I have to do. Up to you, but that's what I do. This one is Sophie read her novel for 3.5 hours this week. Yesterday, my daughter Abby got her chance to be in the word problem. Today's Sophie's turn, so get to embarrass my other teenage daughter. It's something I'm really good at. So Sophie, she read her novel for 3.5 hours this week. And actually, that's not true. I don't think my daughter read for 3.5 hours. I wish she would, but I don't think she did. Sophie read a novel for 3.5 hours. Okay, I'll just highlight that. She also spent 2.5 hours working on math problems. Okay, so she worked on math problems, 2 1/4. Altogether, Sophie's supposed to complete 7 hours of homework a week. How much longer does she need to work? Ooh, that's like a couple steps. So, so I need to know how much longer. I'm going to make that a different color because that's a different question. How much longer? So she worked these two out. So I'm going to have to add those two together. She's supposed to complete this much. That's just kind of information. And I need to know how much longer. So that's a subtraction problem. So this is like a couple different things in one. Adding and then subtracting. And how much am I subtracting by? Well, that magic number 7, because that's how much she needs. Wow, this is a little more complicated. Couple steps. Well, first, it won't be hard to figure out how much homework she did in all. 3.5 plus 2 1/4. That's no problem. Now, we know it's a bad problem at this point.
No!
But this is not too bad. You do your LCM, and you probably already see that it's going to be 4. I'm not going to go through the LCMT because we already see it. We've been doing so many. So this is going to be 3 2/4 plus 2 1/4. Fairly easy. 2, 3. I got 5 3/4 hours. So what that's telling me is together, Sophie's worked 5 3/4 hours on homework so far. But she needs to complete 7. So that sets up the next part of my problem, which is I'm going to have to take this number and subtract it from 7. That's going to tell me how much more she still needs to do. I'm just going to clear myself a little space. That was the easy one. Now I'm going to do 7 minus 5 3/4. Now do not do this. I'm going to do it wrong. Don't do this. 2 3/4. Done. Ta-da! 7 minus 5 is 2. 3/4. Bring it down. Done. Wrongo. El Wrongo.
No!
It's wrong. You will get it wrong. And if I was writing the multiple choice test, which I'm not, but if I was, I'd make 2 3/4 the first answer. That way I'd trick most of you because you'd all put it because it kind of looks like it should be, but it is not. What you really need to do is create another mixed number that is 7 0/4. It's got no fourths. I didn't change the value, but now I can do a subtraction problem. But it's still a bad problem. Can't do it. So I need to borrow from the 7, make it a 6. In fraction language, the denominator does the talking. So I borrowed 1. 4/4 is equal to 1. And so my new problem is 6 4/4. The value is still the same. 6 4/4 is the same as 7. I haven't changed the value at all. And I'm bringing over the minus 5 3/4. Now, on my whiteboard, I can do this. On your paper, you just leave everything, show all your work. But what I want you to be aware of is this problem doesn't exist anymore. It's gone. Don't let that be confusing with all that work. Just look at this problem. This is the only one that exists. And can I do that one? Well, do I have a common denominator?
Well, yes.
Okay. And is the numerator on the top one larger than the numerator on the bottom one?
Yes.
Okay. Then I can do it. 4 minus 3 is 1/4. And 6 minus 5 is 1. So I'm left with 1 1/4. What does that mean? Well, when we go back to the original problem, it says how much longer does she need to work? She needs to work 1 1/4 hours longer. Not so bad. You can do it. Long problem, but a lot of little easy steps.
Yes.
Oh, if only I could have my hair blowing in the breeze. Oh, I love my hair in the breeze.